And time for a talk of the town today here on AM 1390 KRFO. We're going to talk about household hazardous waste in the Steele County landfill as Environmental Services Scott Goldberg joins us. And you opened up the household hazardous waste facility last week, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we're a seasonal facility. It's an unheated building, so we're only open May through September.
Mm-hmm.
And it's located down at the Steele County landfill site, which is between Owatonna and Blooming Prairie along Highway 218 there. So if you follow the green Steele County landfill sign, you'll find the household hazardous waste facility also. Our regular hours are every Thursday. Again, between May and September, we're open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursdays. And then the first and third Saturdays, we're open from 9 to noon during that time frame. Also, if those hours do not work for somebody, they can call the landfill directly and set up an appointment. We'll accommodate them.
And of course, the next question will be like, well, can you define what is household hazardous waste? I mean, I'm thinking paint or pesticides, or what does it include?
Yeah, good question. It's pretty much everything and the kitchen sink. We're talking mainly we accept latex and oil-based paints. That's probably 90% of the material that we get out there. But it also includes stains, varnishes, aerosol cans, containers, gasoline cleaners like oven and drain cleaners, pesticides, solvents, hobby chemicals, and so on. I mean, the list is really pretty extensive, but it does have to come from a residential waste, hence the term household hazardous waste. We don't accept business household hazardous or business hazardous waste.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through a whole different program to dispose of their material.
And I think at one time, like if you needed some paint for well, I did this like for inside of a shed or a barn. I didn't care what color. I could go out and get some of that paint. Is that still true if someone just needs some paint to paint the inside of an old shed or something?
Yeah, we do try to, in the best interest of saving on the disposal cost end of it, when we get products in, if they're usable, if they're still good products, and we put them on what we call a product exchange shelf right there at the facility. So if you're dropping material off, you can do a little shopping, see if we got something that you need to use, and you can take it. It's free of charge. And also, I don't think I mentioned that dropping this material off for households of Steele County is free. They don't pay anything to bring that in there.
Are there some items that are commonly brought out to dispose, and that you have to say, no, 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 we don't take that? Are there some things you get like that?
Yeah, there are some other options for things like fluorescent lights.
Okay.
We don't take those there. You can bring those to hardware stores. That would be probably one of the key ones that we see.
Batteries?
We don't take batteries either. Lead acid batteries when you purchase a new lead acid battery, the retailer has to accept your old battery. Also, the rechargeable batteries, there's drop sites around like Radio Shack and Lowe's, and some of those businesses actually take those things from consumers at no charge. I mean, they can drop those off.
Is there like a phone number where a person could call ahead in case they aren't sure if they can bring it out, or?
Yeah, I would say just check with them if you're unsure about it. If you're going to one of those particular businesses, just check with them and see if they'll accept it. We also, on our website, our county website, we have an A to Z disposal guide to try to help people figure out where to take what. And we try to keep that up to date as much as possible. So that's another reference for folks to look at and see. We list businesses that accept different things on that site.
And I know when you opened Thursday, I just kind of went on the landfill website as well, and I started reading, because I mean it's something you don't think about unless you need to dispose of something. I had a neighbor who put new carpet in, and he said, "Well, I wonder what I can do with the old carpeting. Did they take it at the dump?" And no, I didn't know. He found out that they did. What are some things that people might be surprised that they can bring to the dump, whether it's for free or a charge?
Yes, the landfill really prior to the early 90s was pretty much a disposal site.
I'm calling it a dump, aren't I? Shame on me.
It was just a place to get rid of stuff, and
Yeah.
it was buried, basically, land disposed of. Well, now we have a tipping floor area right up by our scale in our office at the landfill, and there's various staging areas for things like appliances and tires, used oil and used oil filters, electronics, TVs, old computer monitors. All of those things now have to be separated. They can't be land disposed. So we set those areas up, and there's a fee for each of those. Used oil is the exception. We don't charge for used oil or used oil filters. But the landfill will pretty much accept just about anything unless it's a hazardous waste coming from a business or something like that that has to be routed somewhere else. But it's a facility that takes a lot of things, and it's not just a disposal facility anymore. We do reclaim and recycle things as well as dispose of them out there.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I didn't realize that you took that many items for recycling and such. And like I said, until you actually have to go out and do it, you don't think about things like that. And a lot of that's on your website as well. What are the hours for the landfill for dropping stuff out?
We're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 4:30, and then on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. One thing I just go back to here, Lauren, on the household hazardous waste, I want to let people know too, there is another option if you just have paint products. The paint stewardship law that was passed a couple of years ago set up some other drop sites for paint products at retail locations, and Sherwin-Williams here in Owatonna will accept just paint, not pesticides and drain cleaners and all that stuff, but they'll take paint products from households in small quantities, less than 5-gallon containers. And if you have any questions, again, I would advise you, if you've got a large amount of it, just contact them directly. But they're open 7 days a week, and for Owatonna folks, it might be more convenient than driving down to the landfill.
I didn't know that. I'm glad you brought that up. I had no idea. Well, let's say here I come. I've got to pick up. It's a bunch of garbage, and I dump it off. What's going to happen to that big pile of garbage I just dropped off at the landfill?
Well, if it's disposable waste, it will go to our fill area, the landfill, the lined area where we've constructed some environmental protection. We put liners and leachate collection systems to collect the wastewater, and it's the more engineered location of the landfill. We also have a demolition debris area, which for building demolition material,
Okay.
if you're remodeling or somebody's taking down a building, we have an area for that too. But the mixed solid waste goes into our lined area, and essentially it's buried there. It's compacted and eventually covered and kind of sealed in a dry tomb of waste, so to speak.
Are there any fires? Do you burn anything anymore?
No,
Okay.
it's kind of a no-no. And
Didn't think so, but I thought that.
sure, yeah. Speaking of burning, residents, if they get a burning permit through the Sheriff's Department, they can burn vegetative matter, brush and leaves and things like that. But other than that, most things are pretty much banned from open burning. Even though it's still going on, there's been a ban for about 35 years here in Minnesota for burning garbage.
Yeah. If you we have a compost site in town, but if it's closer to drop your branches or yard waste at the dump, can you do that, or do you have to go to the?
We don't have really a yard waste collection there,
Okay.
because Owatonna's got 2 sites, the Owatonna compost site, and then SMC also has a site up on the north end of town. The other municipalities also have had their own yard waste sites in the county to serve their constituency there, their city residents. So that's kind of one of them that we don't really deal with too much there.
Okay, then I brought it up. Won't know unless I ask, so why not? Let's see. We're talking to Scott Goldberg from the Steele County Environmental Services. Landfill life expectancy, good shape. Going to be around for a while, or?
We're looking at probably 15 to 20 years, depending on the volume of waste that comes in there over the next 15 years. I'm working with the Steele County Board right now on that issue in terms of the long-term landfill options. We're talking about whether we want to stay in the landfill business after this site closes or not. So that's kind of where we're at with that at this point, and we're doing some things here to try to maximize that site life and sort of balance the site life with the cash flow, make sure we can pay the bills and still extend the life of the facility to the greatest extent.
And one way you can do it is through recycling, so I guess we'll kind of just segue into that. Folks still being real good at recycling around here in Steele County?
Outstanding. Steele County residents have traditionally, really since the program started, and even before the program, we had some real avid recycling people, but since our program started in the early 90s, it's been a voluntary program. Recycling technically isn't mandated, but we get greater than 80% participation and have had that for the last 25 years or so. Just kind of a note on that. We did change to a single stream system in November of 2012. Now, prior to that, we were collecting about 1,800 tons a year in our residential recycling program. We went to the single stream, and now that's practically doubled. It's about 3,500 to 3,600 tons a year that we collect with the single stream. It's more convenient. I think more people are using it. More people are actually adding an additional cart to their household because they generate enough recyclables to fill those carts. So it's been an outstanding effort on the part of Steele County residents to participate in that program. So hats off to them for jumping in and really making it a go.
Are there a number of things that people, if you said, well, you can recycle that, and they go, you're kidding. Can you think of some items like that where that are recyclable and folks just don't think they are, or not?
Well, this time of the year, one thing we might note is those plastic pots for plants.
Yeah.
The smaller plastic pots, not the ceramic ones, the hard, heavy ceramic ones, but the plastic pots, you can recycle those.
Oh, like
you
those little square ones you put one.
Yes. Yep, the little square ones, or even the round ones too. They come in different sizes, but well, that would be one thing. I think in the plastics, almost all of the plastics now, except, and these are food and beverage containers. If it came in, you have a plastic container that had food or a beverage in it, it's probably recyclable. The exceptions are the plastic film. We still don't accept bags. Plastic bags are not recyclable. We don't accept things like plate glass, other unique glass, candle holders and stuff like that. Just glass that had a beverage in it or a food in it. That's kind of the key thing there.
Okay, I've picked up a lot of things I didn't know. How we got there. We're talking recycling, the landfill, household hazardous waste. Last few minutes or so, Scott, some other things you'd like to talk about, whatever you wish as far as environmental services.
Okay, I'd just like to kind of put a plug in for our website. I know we're transitioning to a new website here in the next couple of weeks, but we try to give people as much information as we can on that website. So if you go on www.co.steele.mn.us, go to environmental services, and you'll find a lot of information on hazardous waste, landfill, water, and so on. So that's a good resource. But if you can't get your answers to the questions there, certainly give us a call. We still have the recycling hotline number 451-5443, which we don't have any recycling coordinator support right now in that office, but we will get to your call. We will return your call and answer your questions if you have questions about any kind of disposal of materials there. So that's I think that's kind of the gist of it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Scott Goldberg, Steele County Environmental Services, our guest today on Talk of the Town on AM 1390.